Yo guys, welcome to the last lap. Don't forget to drop a lovely, juicy 5-star rating if you're watching on Apple Podcasts or Spotify. Hope you enjoy, and let's get into it.
The thing is, right, I know Red Bull do seem to have this advantage at the moment. Clearly, I mean, not seem to, obviously, they do, right? But
Pretty black and white.
with the ATR time, and Aston Martin have got almost twice as much as, Aston Martin have got 100%, Red Bull have got 62%, 62.5%, I think it is. Yeah. The more that Aston Martin can pick up points at this start of the season when they are off the Red Bull, and hopefully by the end of the season, that ATR penalty will start to kick in. Mm-hmm. And then, if Red Bull run away with it at the start of the year, then they might have a bigger, like kind of Brawn 2009. They started really strong.
Yeah. We've also got to remember last season, like the team who was starting off really strong wasn't even Red Bull, it was Ferrari. And then basically towards the second third of the season, that's when Red Bull really started coming in. Because obviously Ferrari won the opening sort of races, and also Red Bull actually had reliability issues with the engine fuel pump, basically. So although we are seeing some dominance here from Red Bull in the first two races, that doesn't necessarily write the whole season straight away.
Yeah. That's the thing. If the Aston upgrades, if Aston can do what McLaren are talking about being able to do.
McLaren, let's not rule McLaren 2.0 out of this after Baku. You never know.
We never know. It could be a rocket ship. You never know.
But do we think Aston Martin is likely to be the team to challenge? I guess that's the thing, right? We've seen two races now.
I feel like they have the advantage over the other teams because they have that so much.
And they've got that ATR time that's not even using that yet.
So that means they can bring developments to every race, new upgrades and so on. So it could get to the point where they may be very, very close to Red Bull at the end of the year.
They also just have better race pace as well than Ferrari.
Ferrari really struggled in this one. Yeah.
But no, I mean, they've lost out on, what's the difference between P3 and P4 in points? 3? So 15 and 12? Yeah, 15 and 12. Like, okay, 3 points doesn't sound like a lot, but I'm just saying if...
Stroll retired as well.
Yeah, and Stroll retired as well. Exactly. So, like, I've had a bit of a stinker in terms of points. You look back and you think, okay, if Aston Martin are going to be this team to, they've got seemingly the second best overall package right now, and they've got all this ATR time about to come that they've not even started utilising yet, then that 3 points plus Stroll retiring, because, I mean, again, your predictions before the race for the live show, subscribe to the last lap so you can watch the live shows. You almost got it. Like, if Stroll didn't break down, I think you're pretty much nailed it.
And I think the car is there. The car, it looks comfortable second car at the moment, in terms of race pace anyway. So if they have that advantage in terms of development throughout the year as well, over Mercedes and Ferrari, they could make a bigger gap and close that gap to Red Bull. So they're setting themselves up for a better year even next year.
I think they're the best hope. If you want from a neutral point of view, I want a championship battle to the end. I don't really give a fuck which team's fighting.
I don't care.
Honestly, I
just want action.
Really
all I'm here for.
And Aston Martin seemed like the best hope. So
I've gone full neutral this season, obviously, because like my guy's gone. So I'm kind of a bit like, I don't really want to follow McLaren because I wasn't really a fan of them before. For like Red Bull's kind of been the only closest one before that afterwards, and I'm not really a fan of Mercedes either. So I'm very much like now just kind of floating around. And the only one that's truly got me kind of excited for it is Aston Martin. And again, like, it's great seeing Alonso up there. It's also really great. Also Stroll doing some good performances. Like we say,
Stroll was having a great race.
He was having a great race.
I'm sorry, that move on science was crazy.
Yeah, it was sick. It was absolutely sick. And you've got to give credit to where credit's due.
It's like bigger rearview mirrors. Bigger rearview mirrors this year. That was always his problem. Spatial awareness.
Because he used to drive like nobody was there, like next to him. You didn't see them.
But now the mirrors are
off. Now it's fine.
But now the mirrors are too big, so Alonso can't even see with the box where he's driving in.
Jesus, you've got a mistake.
Like people were on Ocon for that.
But the thing is,
last time, and
inadvertently, that lost him the podium.
Yeah.
If we're going to be totally honest, because the other penalty doesn't even happen. If he actually just fucking parks.
The butterfly effect of that,
Because it didn't affect any part of the race. He would have stayed where he was.
Fernando Alonso has started more races than anyone ever in the history of the world ever. Like, you can't do that, man. That is
he's done it how many times? He's gone into position on the
race more than anyone.
I'm really confused. Maybe just because obviously when you're in the car, the only thing they can really see, that's why they have like the yellow line going across. At least you know where to put your front tires. But the fact he must have just misjudged it or something, or maybe thought
a minor lapse in
So now on
concentration.
some circuits, the actual box is wider than others.
Yeah.
The actual grid. I think it's in Brazil where the actual grid box is a lot shorter in width than other tracks or something. But I don't think that's going to be an issue here. But I'm sure like Sam Collins, everyone are going to analyse it and figure out what went on because
for two drivers in two races, that's maybe it's the mirrors are too big.
I don't know.
It's just little LEDs in like in the ground or something. Like like the flights when you get in the airplane.
The lights go green when you're in, and it's red when you're out.
A little bit like what they have on the F1 game. It's like it's got red, green, purple. No, it's going too far.
They actually need that.
But it's a bad error.
And the other 19,
It's a bad error with the
other 19 got it right.
It doesn't actually it doesn't gain you anything. I saw people say that in the chat.
Yeah,
during
that's
the live
the
show.
thing.
It doesn't gain you anything, but at the same time,
Rules are rules.
you have to park there, bro. You can't just
Get rid of the formation lap.
You can't just like across the whole line.
You can park there. So.
Yeah, you can. You can't.
With all my
park
parking
there, sir.
tickets, I wish I could park anywhere. Alonso.
Well, so if we're saying that Aston Martin is the team we have the next most faith in, you've got to look at Ferrari and McLaren with a lot of they've both had. Well, Ferrari in particular, I think, can come out of this weekend more sad. I think than I mean, I guess Leclerc taking that penalty, which was it's their engine. You know what I mean? It's their car that they've. It's not like they're like when McLaren have like engine issues. Well, that's a Mercedes engine, and they've only got.
Or like Lando running over like debris from Piastri is like that's not his fault. That he had
Is
to go
that
for.
confirmed? Is that what
I believe that's. I think when we were looking over the live chat, I think that's what the issues were. Like he had damage to his floor and then couldn't control it and whatnot.
It's just a disaster show.
Well, let's talk about Ferrari first, though.
Yeah, okay, let's go.
Obviously, Leclerc making his way through, getting caught out. Niran, you look like you've had enough, mate.
I'm just so depressed.
You've got nothing left.
For audio listeners only, Niran is looking very sad.
Deeply.
It's not, it's actually not sad. It's actually just bewilderment, lads. I just actually don't understand. I've got nothing left.
Gordon Bennett, Ray.
Gordon Bennett. I maintain I don't understand how you can use more than the two parts that you have when you haven't even started race 2 yet.
Yeah, it's pretty mad, isn't it?
It's just, but it's so traditional Ferrari, though, isn't it?
It's like over the whole winter, they were like, "Oh, we're going to sort out reliability. This is what we've been
We've
working
got loads
on.
of power. It's just
We're
reliability.
going to have this special oil from Shell. We're going to have 15 brake horsepower more, and so on." Why is it the same issue? What's going on here? Why can't? And it's not like you can blame anyone else. Like you just said, Tommo, it's your engine. So what we doing? You're disadvantaging your drivers by having them like absolutely petrified that the car's just going to break down at any moment. And now they're visibly saying, "Look, we're not even good at race pace. We're seeing that Aston Martin's ahead of us." What does that do to the psychology of the drivers at the moment?
Mercedes were ahead of them just now.
Yeah, that's what I mean. On this track,
Mercedes ahead of them.
yeah, Mercedes were clear.
And I know like Mercedes' problems have been like highlighted quite a lot, but Ferrari, they're not looking good right now.
No.
That's what I mean. Like when you consider this time last year, like, wow. The change, like they were, it was a great battle. Charles Verstappen this time last year at Saudi Arabia made it a very good race. This weekend they were the fourth quickest.
It almost seems like it kind of seemed like with Ferrari last season as if they had like the wind tunnel fine basically, because like towards the end of the season they've massively dropped off and Red Bull kind of flying with it, and it kind of now looks like it's like the leftovers what's going on. I will ask you this though, like if Leclerc didn't have to have that engine penalty and was starting front row P2, do you think he would have been able to keep there, or do you think he would have dropped down to about fourth, which is where
I think if anyone could, it's Leclerc because he's just that good a driver.
Do you think he would stay in P2?
But would he have stayed ahead of Verstappen? No.
No,
I think Verstappen would have got past
I think he would have got a podium, though.
Yeah, he could have
P3?
maybe snuck it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Him and Alonso, we didn't actually get to see that in Bahrain because obviously Leclerc car broke down, but I think he could be up there. Maximising the limit of the car. I feel like the tyres today.
But that is the limit of the car.
Yeah.
Like, that is like...
It's difficult because like how much of Sainz falling back was the car not being great or just Sainz being a bit slow?
Yeah.
You can't really say because Leclerc got to that point, but then on the hards, Leclerc couldn't get past Sainz. So...
But Leclerc looked quite comfortable in Bahrain before he broke down.
Yeah.
Very comfortable.
It was literally like 11 seconds clear, I think.
Yeah.
At the time.
So it's just about, okay, where is this car really? Is it better than the M? Is it not? We have to kind of...
And it might be track dependent.
There's been so
track
much
dependent.
talk around Ferrari as well. Like outside, we got, I think it's David Sanchez, who's like head of Aero, talking about potentially leaving Lauren Mekis.
David Sanchez has gone.
He has gone,
He's
sorry.
gone to
Yeah, you're
McLaren.
right. Yeah.
He's on garden.
Is he actually gone to McLaren?
He's
Is that
gone to
confirmed?
McLaren now. So.
Yeah, there you go.
So he's on garden leave at the moment.
Yeah, they've put him on a big
and a lot of
garden leave.
people like Bonotto's guys are just saying, I'm out.
Yeah.
So this is what's going on over
And there's already
there's politics with Vasseur.
Well, Vigner and Vasseur, there's already like issues there.
But I think also it might be. I'm going to play devil's advocate here. I think it might be a good thing because they did need a shake-up within the team because the team have not been in a championship winning position for quite a while now.
So you think Bonotto was? You think you should have gone?
Should have gone.
Yes.
Yeah, Max, yeah.
Yeah. No, but I think also like it doesn't. Bonotto was the team. Like looking after the team that way, and Ferrari are very much puppeteering what they're wanting in terms of that. I think Fred can be the turning point for the team, and now you're obviously mentioning that there are key personnel who are leaving, but at the end of the day as well, you got to look at it that they weren't in the championship winning conditions for the previous years, so maybe this might be the change that they're actually needing. I mean, in terms of like strategy, it looked all right to me in today's race, all things considered with the...
Overcut was actually pretty good.
Yeah, overcut was really good. Yeah. Also, no issues with the pit stops as well. It's small little issues like that which were really damaging to the team last season.
But that Leclerc safety car thing with Lewis was a little bit sort of like, you could have told him it.
Yeah, but
maybe like little communication.
But even then though, it's kind of like it's small crimes, and that's very much.
And we're
like,
only highlighting it because it's Ferrari.
Yeah, totally. But it's not still like if it wasn't like sort of last season. So it might be the turning point. But I don't think Fred has been able to actually, because he turned over to Ferrari fairly late, I would probably say, in terms of like the actual car development of this season.
Oh God, yeah.
So so he's
he
kind of
joined in January, didn't he?
Yeah. So he wouldn't have like had his actual stamp onto everything so far, and I know he's already had some.
It's going to
run-ins
take
where
a good couple of years for Vasseur to stamp his authority,
which he deserves. Yeah, and I think that's where he's got a confident but calm approach to everything.
Yeah, and what we don't really know is how involved Bonotto was in terms of that technical parts of the team. Was he so involved that he only knows how to resolve it? That makes sense. Like these issues with the engine and so on. Bonotto was leading on that.
Yeah, he was an engine man.
He's an engine man.
That was literally his previous role.
Will the new people be able to resolve those issues without losing Bonotto's technical knowledge? Because what Bonotto wasn't good at was being a team principal.
And that's being a team leader.
Being a team leader. But him working on the cars, that wasn't the bad part.
The one thing to that though, if you've got Bonotto faithfuls who are leaving Ferrari, which is what's being talked about, surely that explains that there was I guess maybe because Bonotto had been there for 20 plus years, but you had people loyal to Mattia, and maybe David Sanchez was, I don't know, but like that certainly applies a degree of like personnel management that there's people at Ferrari who, because Bonotto went and they don't feel it was done right, like they're prepared to walk as well. And is all this just a complete, new team principle, all of that a waste of time if Ferrari aren't going to allow Fred to actually just do his own thing?
Yeah.
If you're going to get Vigner and Elkan, still want to keep their noses in, because I think there's a degree of like that the race team wants to operate more independently to the rest of the business. Where you got like McLaren have a race team and a car division. Obviously, Ferraris is so old, and it's like it feels like that from what I've read anyway. It's like the big Ferrari bosses, they still want to keep they still want to be the puppeteers at the very top.
Yeah.
But I don't think that's how you build a successful racing team.
Yeah, I was reading an article, and I think like Vasseur, when he came in, he was asking about sponsors, and he said that's not your concern. And I'm like, that's a team principal role.
Yeah.
It's part of it. So I don't know whether they're trying to just like sever that so he only focuses just on the race team and how they operate.
But they have to learn.
But
they have to look at these other
was
teams.
the CEO. He wasn't like just normally a team principal at Alfa Romeo. He was
doing what Vigner's doing now. He was just doing it at a racing team and not Ferrari. Like,
don't you think Ferrari are always so behind on this sort of stuff though? Like just being a modern Formula One team.
Even social media.
I was literally about to say social media is the example, mate. They've only just started using memes like this.
And that's the thing. And even then, that's
crazy.
not even Ferrari. That's an agency. They do it through. Who fully look after it. But I think that's why
the decision to hire that agency.
Yeah, totally. But I think that's where Fred, he obviously he has got the connection somewhat with Ferrari before, with Alpha, and there's little connections there. And we've obviously, I think, Prema as well, when he was in F2. ART,
team,
yeah, that's it. Which you can draw some links there, but it's not directly with Ferrari. I think someone coming in external from the outset, rather than someone coming in through Ferrari like Bonosso did. It's a fun noise. Sorry, for all those listeners, I just scraped my hand across the love and carbon fiber table and it made levy. But having someone come in external, not through Ferrari and seeing it and already knowing the team and stuff, you need that refresh and a bit of a shake up. Yeah. So even though he's having these conversations now with Ferrari, not knowing what is the terms and conditions for that, I think that's it's a good stepping stone to potentially something better and rebuilding it.
But that will take a while, right? Yeah. If you're going to try to clear out the old and put in the new, we're not talking about, it's only going to be 6 months or so. We're talking about taking people from other teams and they're going to be on garden leave and then you have to implement it into the team.
That's what Aston Martin have been
It takes a while to get to that position. And then Aston Martin, you have to wait for a little bit of a while as well while all those people got integrated into the team. So if they give Vasseur the power to do what he wants to do, we might see some positive changes.
Yeah, because I think Fallows joined in 2020, end of 2020, I think I want to say. Like he's actually been at Aston Martin.
Yeah, it's been a while, I think.
A fair while, and it's taken time for his philosophies to come in. But yeah, I just Ferrari pissed me off, man. No, I'm sorry. Like I get. It's like when I'm pissed off at West Ham, right? Because I love them, and they're just like continuous. Like there's nothing better. The vibes of a Ferrari win and a Ferrari championship going to, like, that team is followed like no other team in it. Like no other team has the pull of Ferrari. No other team has the fan base and the dedication. Like, Mahad, you being a McLaren fan who's like really I'd say McLaren are the only other team who have really invested in people to be McLaren fans and not just following drivers.
Because I feel like anyone met an Alpine fan in their life?
They're just like Alpine through and through. The blood's blue.
Even then, even then, before you used to have it with Renault because it was like a recognizable brand and being like, yes, it's very French and everything, but like having Renault because of its heritage. But then when it's rebranded, like you said, there is now.
And even like when Fernando was winning championships in Renault, like they were Fernando fans. Like I don't feel like Renault made cool jackets. Fine.
But they're not wavy to it.
You know what I mean? Ferrari have that. Such a unique, and I feel like if the sport, I feel like it does, the potential of the sport, if you've got Ferrari winning at the front, all of that it means so much to the Italians. It's like Williams are not part of British culture, like, and they're the most, I would say, the most historic and most like nostalgic team, arguably with McLaren for sure. But I'd say like Williams got so much, and you'd think if that's ever going to happen to another team, it would be a Williams. And Williams in this generation, because they haven't been doing bits, I think McLaren have done very well on that front. But it's just, it annoys me, man, because I think that Tifosi deserves so much better. And it's just seeing this like managerial incompetence at the very top and continually sticking your nose in. It's never going to lead to success. That needs to change for me before anything else can happen.
It's like leading to your own downfall, basically. Like it's not
Red Bull gave Christian Horner the reins. And you know what? He's got the right people. Got Adrian Newey in early, which is kind of what Aston Martin have got the right person in early, and they can build around that. And that's like a proven. Even like Toto owns a third of that team of Mercedes. And Daimler just give him the reins. They just let him do it. They don't interfere. And Ferrari just continue to interfere, and it does my fucking head in.